Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and to another Premiere Thursday. Tonight I thought I would read you a wee story from Scottish Legends, 55 Mythical Monsters. Maggie Moulach. Maggie Moulach is perhaps the most famous or infamous of all the brownie-like mythical creatures from the Scottish Highlands. Being a typical brownie, she was brown-skinned, short, around 2 foot tall, and rather hairy, leading her to the unfortunate nickname of Hairy Meg. Maggie lived with her son, Brownie Claude, in Tullachgorn Castle and served the owners, the Grant family, through the usual chores carried out by a brownie. Maggie's additional duties included acting as a banshee to announce the deaths of family members and teaching chess strategies to the clan chief so that he may defeat his opponents. Legends say that Maggie was able to shapeshift into a grasshopper, and the darker myths suggest that she was capable of coming down chimneys to kidnap children, similar to a Bauchan. This suggests that she perhaps underwent a transformation from good to evil. Maggie's son was said to be a Dobie, which is a form of brownie who has good intentions but is considered to be not very smart. He was said to guard Fincastle Mill and struck fear into the hearts of trespassers. However, one legend tells how he was tricked one night and brutally murdered by a local girl. Maggie loved her son very much, and perhaps the mixed nature of her legend is a nod to the pain she went through as she transformed from a loving mother into a vengeful spirit. That fatal night, a girl decided to venture up to Fincastle Mill, as she desperately needed more flour to finish a wedding cake she was baking. She was aware that Brownie Claude guarded the mill. She also knew that the miller had left for the evening, and she would have to enter the mill and secretly grind the flour she needed. Before she began grinding the flour, she put a large pot of water over a fire to boil. Unfortunately, although she tried to be extremely quiet, she had already caught the attention of the inquisitive Brownie Claude, who burst in on her as she worked. Wary of the bold girl who stood across from him, the dull-witted Dobie spoke slowly as he demanded to know the girl's name, to which she quickly replied, "I miss me fain. I am myself." Undeterred, once more Brownie Claude demanded to know the girl's name. Again she stood her ground and replied, "Me fain, me myself." Then they stood staring at each other from across the room, having reached an impasse. Irritated by the girl's response, Brownie Claude moved across the room towards the girl. As he stepped forward, the girl grabbed the boiling water and launched it into its face, completely drenching the poor Dobie in its scalding contents. Brownie Claude cried out in agony and rushed to find his mother, Maggie Moulach, who cradled her burnt son in her arms, tears rolling down her cheeks as she asked who had hurt him. Brownie Claude's weak reply was, "Me fain, me myself," as he died in his mother's arms from his wounds, leading Maggie to believe that her son had somehow fatally scalded himself. The girl had succeeded in doing something that few others had rarely achieved. She had tricked not one, but 2 brownies. However, the girl who defeated Brownie Claude had become overly emboldened by her actions, and bragged to all who would hear how she had fought and conquered the fearsome Dobie. She imagined herself a hero of the town, freeing the mill of its terrible guardian. None seemed to question why she had gone up to the mill at that hour in the first place. Then one day this bravado led to Maggie hearing of the girl's actions as she walked past her window, boasting about the bravery of her deed. Some say Maggie instantly flew into a fit of rage so great that she transformed into a fearsome boggart and brought everyone's worst fears to life. Others say it was the months of heart-aching grief that eventually changed Maggie. What they all agree on is that Maggie grabbed a stool and threw it through the open window with all the strength she could muster, striking the boastful girl and killing her instantly. To those witnessing the act, the legend of a vengeful spirit was born. The terrible Maggie Moulach, the fearsome Hairy Meg, come to wreak havoc on innocent townsfolk, killing indiscriminately and without remorse. This was how the pain of a grieving mother became both a folklore tale and a life lesson to remain humble at all times, for the consequences of pride can be deadly. This legend also serves as a sad story of how real-world monsters can be created by the experiences they go through, a thoroughly human lesson handed down through generations as a folklore tale. Prior to her son's death, Maggie was known to be a jovial prankster. One legend tells of Maggie's time spent in service to a farming household. Maggie was so efficient and hard-working that the owner of the farm fired all the other servants. The greedy owner thought he could exploit Maggie's good nature to save himself some coin. However, it's never a good idea to take advantage of a brownie. Maggie quickly grew tired of doing all the work and decided not only to go on strike, but also to play many pranks on the owner until he was forced to rehire all the previous staff. Another life lesson then from the legendary exploits of the mythical Maggie Moulach. Don't take people for granted. Here's another wee one about a Bauchan or a Bauchan. A Bauchan is a type of Scottish hobgoblin with conflicting personality traits. At times the Bauchan can be kind and helpful, but at others it's reputed to have been a roguish and sometimes harmful creature. Descriptions of Bauchans vary greatly between legends, ranging from small hairy creatures that were similar in appearance to brownies, to huge monsters more akin to giants or trolls. We will take a look at two tales that illustrate both sides of these strange creatures, the small and sometimes helpful soul and the fearsome monster it could become. Within the book, Popular Tales of the West Highlands by John Francis Campbell, there lies a tale of a farm in Loch that was frequented by a mythical Bauchan. The owner of the farm, Callum Moore Mackintosh, developed a peculiar relationship with the Bauchan that was sometimes hostile in nature, but could also be friendly and constructive at times. The Bauchan would often help out with daily chores around the farm, but could also become quarrelsome and start fights with Callum. Magical in nature, the Bauchan was a shapeshifter who would emphasise its stubborn nature by taking the form of a goat. One fight between Callum and the Bauchan is said to have started over a handkerchief, which had been blessed and given to Callum by his wife. The Bauchan decided that a handkerchief would be suitable payment for the help he'd been giving Callum around the farm. As it was a gift from his wife, Callum refused to part with it and told the Bauchan that if he wished to own the handkerchief, then he would have to take it from him, which, after a strenuous struggle, the Bauchan successfully did. Later, perhaps feeling guilty about depriving Callum of his wife's gift, the Bauchan returned the handkerchief. This highlights the dual nature of this mythical creature, an aspect further seen one particularly bad winter. Callum's farm had been cut off from the surrounding area by a horrific snowstorm, and he was unable to gather wood for his fire. Upon seeing the plight of his sometimes friend, the Bauchan felled a great tree so that he could provide enough firewood to Callum and his family to see them through the harsh winter storm. Perhaps tiring of the cold Scottish winters or the Bauchan's antics, Callum and his family emigrated to New York. However, the Bauchan followed them there, and life is said to have continued in the same contradictory manner it always had. The Bauchan helped Callum prepare his new land, but also fought him when the mood took him. Although he couldn't escape from the Bauchan by moving to America, at least Callum was fortunate that he didn't encounter the fearsome type of Bauchan that appears in our next tale. Colin the Headless was said to be a huge murderous Bauchan that stalked the area between Morar House and the River Morar in the West Highlands. Travellers along this area, known as the Smooth Mile, feared being attacked and killed by the mythical beast. However, the terrifying Bauchan would only attack men. Women and children were free to roam the area without fear. In addition, he would not attack members of the family that lived at Morar House, suggesting that the creature was in fact protecting the grounds from potential threats. Unfortunately, one day the Bauchan attacked and killed the wrong traveller. The victim was a distant relative of the MacLeod clan from Inverness and a close friend of the chief's son, Ian Garve. Upon learning of his friend's death at the hand of the vicious Bauchan, Ian swore vengeance and set off to hunt the mythical beast. Stalking along the Smooth Mile, Ian found the Bauchan and a great battle ensued. Ian managed to overpower the Bauchan and pinned the creature in place throughout the night until the first rays of dawn stripped Colin the Headless of his strength. Ian spared the defeated Bauchan, who promised to leave and never return to the Morar area. Colin is said to have lived the rest of his days secluded away in a hill in northern Skye. In The Haunted Wizard by Christopher Starshiff, a Bauchan tricked the main character into naming him Buckeye, thus cursing him with a bond with the creature. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe and press the wee bell notification. And a huge big thank you to all my subscribers, patrons and members. See you next week. Bye bye.